Today is Saturday, June 26th, and my people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we are looking at the correlation between the Bitcoin market and the historically faded voyage of the Titanic. And we'll be addressing the question if it'll sink or swim, and is now a good time for you to look at entering the crypto market. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you can profit as a result, and today is no exception. So shout out to the people live streaming right now with me. We are syndicated, I believe, on Library and YouTube. I'll be uploading this to Facebook as well. Game of Crypto, Cookie, Berryman, and Lady Plants. Good to see you all in the building. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. So when I put together, I have to put together these thumbnails for this video. And one of the things I try to do is make it relevant to the topic and, artistically creative, visual, and all that stuff. And, one of the articles that pops up here is from the Business Insider. This one happens to be out of India. I think this was actually circulated in the U.S. It's a paid link. You have to, be a Prime member to view it. But the title says, you're literally shifting deck chairs on the Titanic. Here's why the SEC probably won't approve a Bitcoin ETF anytime soon. They referred to approving a ETF for Bitcoin as shifting chairs on the Titanic, meaning that it didn't matter if you did or you didn't. The general asset was going to tank and go under anyway. Keep in mind, this was circulated August 23rd, 2028, right? And as we know, the Bitcoin price, what was Bitcoin price back then? I try to find it. I'm actually on Brave right now, so it's acting really slow. The Bitcoin price, I think back then was like 7,000, 12,000, 14 maybe. Definitely wasn't north of $30,000 today. So you always have to be cognizant when these CJB articles come out and tell you that Bitcoin's dead, it's going down, because it's like you just go back in history and they've been wrong about 99% of the time. But nonetheless, here we are. People say the Bitcoin is the Titanic. Well, Bitcoin is actually, and then they talk about, oh, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. That's just a conspiracy theory. But little do people know that Bitcoin is actually the biggest conspiracy theory of all time. Because Bitcoin is nothing more than an idea, a theory about how technology and finance can operate in this new fashion called the blockchain, right? So it's just an idea, it's a theory, and it's a wild speculative idea, but guess what? Every square unit of that idea is now valued at more than $30,000, right? So, one of the things I wanted to do is just take a little look at history to see what other ideas are circulating around, number one, the Titanic, and number two, fiscal policy, macroeconomics, and the future of finance. So this is actually an article. I'll share the link. I'll throw it in the chat now for everybody rocking out with me on live on the air. And I want to scroll down to this one, because this one was kind of interesting here. Right, I remember seeing something like this with regards to another boat, actually called the Lusitania, right? The Light of Anna. Luz is light, Anna is fire, and the Lusitania. This is another article we'll be addressing, but this says the ship was attacked by a U-boat. This is a conspiracy theory on how the Titanic was sank. One of the biggest peacetime maritime disasters. A German U-boat was supposedly reported by many of the Titanic survivors. They noticed an unidentified vessel approximately 5 to 6 miles away from the sinking ship, which reportedly lingered until 2 a.m., according to, again, one of the survivors in the Titanic. Speculated the craft was possibly a submarine that had surfaced to access the damage it had caused after time it skulked off, and also cited survivor testimonies and a number of explosions which seemed to go deep with the ship. The sub may have deliberately targeted the luxury liner, right? And then you throw this one in on top of it, jump in, jump out like Double Dutch and dance on it like Diddy, and start to put your own correlations together on the biggest conspiracy of all time. And this pops up, and it's JP Morgan was behind the whole thing. Rumor has it, a powerful man who also happened to found the Federal Reserve Bank sank the Titanic in order to pave the way for the establishment of the Federal Reserve Bank in the United States-based creation. And guess what? It was opposed by a millionaire by the name of John Jacob Astor, who just so happened to go down on that ship, right? And his business partners, Benjamin, not gonna mess up that last name, and also Macy's co-owner inside, not gonna mess up that name either, those guys, right? These three wealthy men did indeed lose their lives when the Titanic sank. So this is interesting, right? Because between the two of those, we kind of have this situation that could have been intentional and also beneficial for the creation, resurrection, and construction of the common day status quo for the global reserve currency, the Federal Reserve Bank. Most people don't know this side of the story, which is exactly why I'm sharing it. You came for apples, you go leave with oranges. There are also correlations between the Lusitania and the Titanic. This one was interesting because there was actually an article, and again, most people don't even know or remember what the Lusitania was. The Lusitania was a what do they call it? Cruise ship, just a commuter cruise ship where people could buy tickets, kind of like Caribbean of the Seas. This thing shot out, I think, in 1917, 1911, no, 1906. Lusitania was 1906, and it was, it was a big conflict between Germany and the United States, and Germany actually said, if you send this ship out into the waters and the waters are in our territory, we go shoot it down. Guess what? That's exactly what happened. Next thing you know, we got World War I. Next thing you know, Lord Rothschild and the Balfour Declaration is issued. Next thing you know, an entire country of poor brown people disappear. Next thing you know, the CJBs and the planet puppetry and fuckery continues across the world. Next thing you know, we got implants in the United States. Next thing you know, actually, let's get back. That's all I'm gonna do with the next thing you know. Let's jump back to my man John Jacob Astor, because you can see just how, and that was on the Lusitania side. The Lusitania actually got the United States involved in the war, got this declaration issued, created the state of Blue Star people, and essentially a new global regime that continues to be carried out in America. So it doesn't actually sound that far-fetched that a vessel could be sank carrying the first multi-millionaire in America, John Jacob Astor. And this guy was something serious. And oh, by the way, he 100% opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. So now you see there was indeed some intention and motivation to have him disappear, alongside 1,500 other people, innocent bystanders possibly, to get the Federal Reserve Bank created. This guy was a heavy hitter back in the 1800s. This guy was the Trump family before the Trump family existed. They referred to him later in this article, New York. Let's see if Brave will act. There it goes. Right? He was like one of the biggest real estate owners in New York in the early 1800s. Anybody that understands modern day politics, again, that's how King Bobblehead got in office, just by charging tenants rent and owning the asset in Lower Manhattan, right? The land that you live on, right? So Astor, they said his estate, his empire at the time that he passed, I believe, was worth $150 million, right? This is right here, right? The article estimates Astor's entire fortune was about $150 million. Now, when you take that and equate it out to the cost of living between 1913, when he had his empire, in 2021, you actually get a value of about $40 billion, right? So that means this man was sitting on $40 billion liquid back in the early 1900s. Now, when you got that much money, number one, you don't pay taxes. Number two, your cost of interest, your annual growth actually increases, because you basically buy out all the competition, you buy out the risk, you do the backdoor deals to get the best deal possible on your money. So you get a much, much higher interest rate, right? Let's just say you get about 15%. You take the difference in years between 1913, 2021, 108 years, multiply it by 15%. Now this guy would have been sitting on today about $650 billion, right? Now you ask yourself, is it worth it to sink a ship to create the Federal Reserve Bank to keep this money from ever existing in the first place? That's not for me to answer. That's not for you to answer. Again, we're just speculating on the theory supposedly surrounding the Titanic, the Lusitania, and the creation of the Federal Reserve. Again, because Bitcoin is the biggest conspiracy theory of all time. And by the way, this is where we create the bridge around the whole thing. Bitcoin is essentially one of the life rafts on the Titanic. We are witnessing the destruction, the systematic destruction of the, quote, greatest empire to ever exist. Rome is burning, London Bridge is falling, and Chicken Little was right. Everything will be coming down, I believe, inside our lifetime. The American dollar, the status quo for the global regime, will cease to exist. They will evolve it and expand it more than likely into some digital blockchain-based fiat currency. But Bitcoin is real value. Bitcoin, as this article states down here, is literally digital gold. We already have the former chief puppet of the Federal Reserve saying to expect a new financial crisis in our lifetime. I just watched a video that was circulated in one of my trading groups saying that a new digital CV-19 pandemic will be launched. That's what we should expect next. So we got the real physical virus floating in the air, invisible and unknown to everybody. You know, we got to fight an invisible enemy that'll never die in the physical spectrum. And now we should expect a virus to strike the digital side, right? And so, again, this is just creating fear in the minds of the people. And oh, by the way, if Bitcoin is a life raft, well, guess what? There will never be enough life rafts to save the entire world, as there are only probably about 16 million Bitcoin in circulation, right? Because Satoshi had 1 million, he's never been accounted for, and you can probably wipe off about 10 or 20% of the first 5 million every minute. Just due to, you know, lost password keys. You know I lost at least about half of Bitcoin out there. So, you know, it's just the cost of doing business when you had to figure this stuff out on the fly back in the day. It wasn't very secure, wasn't very safe, and, you know, got ripped off a lot of times, and a lot of money just got lost. You know, hard drive, hard keys, different things like that, right? And so I say all that to say this, and this can probably be summarized in this last paragraph. The money you have in the bank, i.e. the Federal Reserve, i.e. the status quo that was created after this guy, John Jacob Astor, was, lost at sea, literally lost at sea. The money you have in the bank is not yours. It's just an amount owed to you, right? This is actually why you have a debit card versus a credit card, because the debit is a debt to the bank. It's not an asset. They always owe it to you. They got to account for it at some point in time, right? It may or may not be paid back, right? Many have released the custodial risk in a very unfortunate manner. Bitcoin is the only asset with a store of value function in the world besides physical gold. Let me repeat that again. Say it again for the people in the back. Bitcoin is the only asset with a store of value function in the world besides physical gold, right? Has no counterparty risk. Your private keys give access to your coins no matter what time of day, day of the week, no matter anywhere in the world, the political situation, or what banks choose or choose not to facilitate the transaction. No trust is involved for you to access your own money. And this is being used all over the world. Bitcoin is digital gold. Indeed, it's a million times better than gold. It's more portable. Try escaping a regime with a gold bar in your luggage. Less inflationary. You cannot produce more as the price bubble up. And anti-fragile. It adapts to adversity and gains from chaos. It gets stronger and smarter every day as opposed to stable molecule and a decentralized living organism. Blah, blah, blah. Right? It's essentially the world's first smart money. That's what it is. How come they don't refer to Bitcoin as smart money, right? We got this whole fucking smart society that they building up around of it, but we still got dumb money. Dumb politics, dumb banks, and dumb money, right? Bitcoin is smart money. That's what I'm gonna start saying. So that way people get it like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? And for that, Bitcoin is hope. I used to do a series on this channel called Death of the Dollar, where I would systematically go do and address all these different issues, basically corresponding to the perfect storm that will wipe out the dollar inside of our lifetime. And I have referred to Bitcoin as, you know, the best vessel of hope for our future. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because, you know, if the entire thing is a Titanic, like most people might think, oh, Bitcoin's going down, is that Titanic? Like, no, motherfucker, look around the world. You know what I'm saying? Anything with some dead guy's face on it and a piece of paper, and that's what people think has value, inside our lifetime will not have any value. Don't believe me? Just go and look at Venezuela, right? Their currency is literally worthless. It's called fiat for a reason. Fiat means fake, right? Bitcoin is real. It's paid for and earned with proof of work, you know, on a blockchain with an immutable ledger so that the world can see, you know, and it's an innovation and evolution. It is the world's first functioning version of smart money. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, right? So if you can hit that like button, I certainly do appreciate it. I don't get on, you know, this channel to, you know, waste my time. I certainly don't want to waste yours. I try to enlighten you with information that has been bestowed upon me from us different sources throughout the years. Most people don't know about the Lusitania. Most people don't know about, you know, the inside story of the Titanic, and they damn sure don't know about the guy that set up the American trust system. Like, this wasn't just no average Joe. This dude was on top of the game. He was essentially the bank before the Bank of America, and he you know, by taking him out, they lost a major competitor in you know, in opposition to setting up the Federal Reserve. It's not too much else spoken about that, except he completely objected against it. I'm more of the understanding he was for sound money, i.e. currency being backed in silver or gold. By the way, Nixon took us off any gold reserve currency in 1972. You know, with the I forget what the thing was, but Nixon nixed the dollar. So ever since 1970, you know, people have just been trading back and forth a worthless piece of paper that has no value. And oh, by the way, you know, let's just look at $100 note. See, it's called a note for a reason, because it's actually a contract. And when you look at it, again, $100 note, just take a look at this thing, right? This thing has right there on top of it, it has somebody else's signature on it. Just pull a 100 bill out your pocket. It's got somebody's signature on it. Did you know whenever a document, which a note is a document, has somebody else's signature on it, they own it and not you, right? It's very simple. It's a very, very simple concept, right? So it is literally, a broken system. I think most of us understand that. And you can see the snowball effect from creating one catastrophe. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's the opportunity, but Bitcoin is on the other side of it. So it's like the life raft. Like, we know that the empire is falling. We know that the money is worthless. We know that inside our lifetime, they'll have to give us some other version of value. But guess what? You always have a choice. You are the only one that controls your own mind. Right? I can't change your mind about something. That's your power. That's your choice. I think one of the secrets that most people don't realize is when they put you in a prison cell, the hardest thing they could do, it's not made to conform you. It's not made to reform you. It's not made to make you a better member of society. It's called a cell for a reason, because they literally capture all your energy, but they still don't control your mind. Right? Well, nowadays, instead of prison cells, most people live in cubicles, but it's little to no difference. In that cubicle, 9 to 5, guess what? They own the output, so essentially, presumably, they own your mind, right? That's what you're trading. And so a lot of this just goes back to the capability for individuals to open their mind up into alternative ideas, to research the history tied to ideas that may or may not have been presented to them in their formalized educational process, and to then make a choice, right? Because like I said, Bitcoin BTC on the blockchain is just an idea. You have to choose to accept it. You have to choose to understand its value. And then you have to choose to integrate the capabilities into your life. And oh, by the way, I have made that choice. This is my path. I will be educating as many people as possible on the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity. If you want to join me on this journey, you can jump on over to bossofbitcoin.com. I have 2 VIP trading communities, the Profit Package and Boss Alert Messages. Both are explained in detail on the website. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on Telegram at BK Crypto Trader on there. And we go keep this thing on wheels and keep on rolling. I'll probably be back with another live stream either tomorrow or Monday. I wanted to draw the correlation for you guys between Bitcoin, the Titanic, the Federal Reserve, and the most notable individual probably in the history of modern finance that has been forgotten about because he was on that maiden voyage and lost at sea. The world would most certainly be a different place had he not been on that ship. And for all we know, it could have been set up the whole time just to bring him down and to launch into existence a reality that most of the world never saw coming in the first place. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh. Arms.